cryptocurrencies or digital currencies, they're internet money, money that is native to the internet. Now, a lot of people will say, well, I use money on the internet. I was doing that before Bitcoin. I have a bank account and online payments and all of that. So it's true. The question is, well, what's so special about this Bitcoin thing? What's the practical or relevant thing about Bitcoin? And I would say it goes to solving a specific internet problem that has been in effect ever since we've all been using the internet. And that's called the double spending problem. We're in the midst here in the United States of a lot of activity happening around cryptocurrencies, around stablecoins. These are all things, I don't know if your audience is used to them.
Well, let me interrupt for a minute to say, I'm not used to them. And so I think many in my audience will not be used to them because I don't think many people are used to them. I think it's becoming important, but I think it's still a little bit cryptic. Crypto is cryptic.
Yeah.
To many of us. So, please elaborate on what's going on.
Well, even before I do, maybe I'll start with, because if people aren't really familiar with cryptocurrencies, they've heard the term. I won't go into a big lecture about the technology. I often like to just ask, what do people think a cryptocurrency is? Because a lot of people, they hear it. And then maybe we could start there. So I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, I'm happy to answer in my ignorance.
Yeah. What do you think crypto is or cryptocurrencies are?
So people have created a way of making money out of nothing. And it has to do with digital technology and with being able to uniquely identify people's holdings and accounts, and they can trade them. Now, how do they uniquely identify these holdings and accounts? It's some kind of complex algorithmic thing that I don't fully understand, but that identifies transactions in a very, they have signatures, they have electronic footprints, they have something, I don't know, that can't be reproduced, can't be fraudulently or counterfeited or whatever. And these assets, which are created through this process that I don't understand, can be traded, and people can make transactions through the web, through the internet, so that they can move money. Money. Okay, so we want to put money in quotes, because what is money? It's not just greenbacks. It's not just, my entire life savings sits in a set of accounts that I have access to because I have the password kind of thing, and I can go online and I can check my accounts and I can move the money. There's authentication and whatnot, but I can move the money here and there. And this is something like that, but again, I don't fully understand. So tell me where I've gone wrong.
Well, you've gone right on a lot. You've sort of hit on a lot of things. You said money out of nothing. I won't say that. What I would say is cryptocurrencies or digital currencies, they're internet money, money that is native to the internet. Now, a lot of people will say, well, I use money on the internet. I was doing that before Bitcoin. I have a bank account and online payments and all of that. So it's true. So then the question is, well, why? What's so special about this Bitcoin thing? Why do people, what did it solve? What's the practical or relevant thing about Bitcoin? And I would say it goes to solving a specific internet problem that has been in effect ever since we've all been using the internet, and that's called the double spending problem. Double spending problem. And what that is if you think about when we all first started using email, sending attachments and all of that, the way the internet works, the internet is about data. And I think we'll come back to this issue of data later on in our talk. But the internet has always been about communication and was a revolution in transmitting data and pictures, emails. The way the internet has worked for sending stuff has always been, it just sends a copy. So when you send a picture or an attachment, that file is still in your inbox, and you basically send a copy, the other person opens it. It's just copy the data, and it's able to transmit it through the cyberspace. That's always been how the internet has worked. But that has never worked for value, for money. Because if I have, let's say, some internet money, and I use that same sort of system, that format, if I copy it from my inbox or my wallet and send it to you, and then you have the money, that doesn't work because that's double spending. I've sent it to you, but then I still have it, or someone could spend the same money. It just doesn't work. So it was known as a double spending problem. What Bitcoin did, and you're on the mark with a lot of the things that you said. Bitcoin is this. It's software. It's just a software protocol. And I'm starting with Bitcoin because that's the first cryptocurrency. And it was a software program created by a pseudonymous guy named Satoshi Nakamoto. We don't know who he is. But he created a protocol that would allow you to create a ledger where you don't need to solve the double spending problem by the way we always do, which is what we used to do, which is you have an intermediary to manage what is credited and what is debited, right? That's how we did online transactions. The Bank of America, Wells Fargo, whoever, they basically have a centralized control. And when you send, they make sure that they've credited your account and debited the other person's account, or vice versa, maybe, right? So that was how we could do things online. But Bitcoin said, or the Bitcoin program is, we're not going to do that. We're not going to have someone with a centralized ledger who's debiting and crediting and managing it so that your account is up and down, et cetera. Instead, we'll just create a software protocol where there is a ledger, there's a record online, but it's decentralized. It's not just one copy that one person manages. It's a set of copies that everyone can manage. And then you said, well, how does this algorithm work? It basically, it has what's called a consensus mechanism, which is basically, how do you agree what the ledger is after all these transactions? So you use a lot of cryptography, a lot of computer science stuff that's beyond me, and you have a mechanism to set, this is what the ledger is. And every time there are transactions, all of those records, they're all synced up. And when you quote unquote send, you're not really sending. It's just really you're broadcasting, hey, move from my wallet to that wallet. And all of those transactions are just kept in this record. And there's this computer science cryptography that manages it. So now we have the ability to be able to say, oh, I'm sending this value to that person, to that particular destination. And we just use the software protocol to do it. Bitcoin was the first one. Now there are many others. Bitcoin came out in, the white paper in 2008. What's happening now, why I've been busy, is since the new administration came in, since the Trump administration came in, the Biden administration was very risk averse when it came to cryptocurrencies in terms of regulation, in terms of, what is the place of this? How do we manage it? What should the regulations be? Very risk averse, very much, many people in the crypto space would say anti-cryptocurrency. The Trump administration is 180 degrees different.